Next up, at UFC Vegas 79, we have Dan Argueta taking on Miles Johns. Dan Argueta, 9-1 overall. 3-1-1 in his last 5. He's coming off the no contest over Ronnie Lawrence, where Keith Peterson ruined that fight for everybody, but Dan Argueta was dominating at least the portion that we saw. Taking on Miles Johns, 13-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, coming off the decision win over Vince Morales. Miles Johns, like so many others before him, is a very good wrestler with strong takedowns, wrestling ability, all those things. He's got heavy hands, and he's explosive. And then he found a couple of knockouts, and now that's all he wants to do is sit on that big power. He waits, he throws the big power. He abandoned his wrestling entirely for a while, but he is coming off that win over Vince Morales where he was low volume. He was winging punches. He was trying to sit on some power, but he actually tried to work in some takedowns, and those attempts helped him out quite a bit. Taking on Dan Argueta. This guy's a short, stocky wrestler. He's going to come across the cage, wrap you up, muscle you to the ground. He's got really nice pressure. He leaves almost no space for his opponents to work up. He has one single game plan, that is get you to the ground, pound away. He's coming off that no contest to Ronnie Lawrence where he was going to dominate that fight. He was dominating that fight, and he was the underdog going into it. I love Argueta in this spot, and it's because I trust him to wrestle. Miles lost that, I'm definitely going to wrestle a while ago. Dan Argueta has not. And then you're going to say, well, but Miles Johns has a 92% takedown defense. It is a little bit inflated, though. If you dig into it, the only other time he fought like an actual wrestler, somebody whose first choice could have been to take him down, was Sexy Mexi. But we know that he also doesn't wrestle. So Miles John has never really fought somebody like a Dan Argueta that is going to come out, wrestle first, try to make it happen. He hasn't fought someone with that game plan. I don't think he's going to be as prepared as he thinks he's going to be for that game plan. So I like Dan Argueta to get this done. I'm pretty confident in him to do that. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I think you probably need to read the chat real quick.
Everybody's saying
Ariel's saying that he did say it was legal because there you go. So
I thought he literally said 2 were illegal, but I'll have to watch again, I guess.
Yikes. Yeah, so back to this fight. I am on the Dan Argueta side, but I'll be perfectly honest. Going into that Ronnie Lawrence fight, I was very high on Ronnie Lawrence because I said there is no way that he can out-wrestle a guy like Ronnie Lawrence. That's exactly what he did, because I was like, the whole time, I was just like, he's safe, because he was threatening submission, but kept position, submission, kept position, and I was just like, Ronnie, he's safe, he's going to be fine. And I was very upset when that fight got called. Obviously got twitched after that, but it was not a good situation for me. But Miles Johns is a guy that, in my mind, doesn't know what he wants to be at this point in his career. Because, as you mentioned, he's a good wrestler. Started knocking people out, so then he just started trying to knock everyone out and ran into, as you already alluded to, an absolute buzzsaw in Sexy Mexi. That was my lock of the week this week. And the reason why he was my lock of the week is because I knew that Sexy Mexi could weather whatever heavy hands Miles Johns was going to throw, and then he was going to be able to wear him down with the constant either grappling or just with the constant striking. That's exactly what happened in that fight. You saw Miles Johns just start fading, try to get even, and when he starts fading, all his go-to at that point in his career was just throw even heavier and throw even more wild. He wouldn't even try to go to his back pocket wrestling. Now, after that fight, he comes in at events, and it seemed like he was like, okay, I got to wrestle. I realize I can't knock everyone out. I got to go to my wrestling. The issue was, it didn't work. It did not work in that fight. So now he knows he can't knock everyone out. He knows he can't really go back to his wrestling, and he's up against another guy who can just completely outwork somebody. Dan Argueta, even in that short notice fight, up in weight against Damon Jackson, I think me and you were both. You picked him in that fight, I'm pretty sure. And me and you were very impressed with the output that he gave and the effort that he gave in that fight. He is nonstop. He's Cub Swanson's boy. He is just going to get in Miles Johns' face. The only thing that does worry me is his entries are a little bit telegraphed, right? You know what he wants to do. He doesn't really set them up. He's pretty good at his entries. He level changes nicely. There's good speed behind it. But sometimes when somebody knows what you're going to do and they're as powerful as Miles Johns, things can go wrong. So there is a part of me, it's like, I just wish that he set up his shots a little bit better. But once he gets on the hips, he's going to stay there, and he's going to wear down Miles Johns. And, I mean, he could find a second, third round finish in my mind, but we'll see how it plays out.
Sorry.
You're a little flustered now, huh?
No, I was watching the aerial video, trying to hear it.
And how'd that go?
I got halfway through and then you stopped talking. So
I bet, yeah. I can keep talking. You can go and keep listening, or if you want. So,
I'll hit play next. I'll hit play in the next breakdown. So, yeah, I mean, this could be. Every card has that one person that we really expected to win and we're super confident in, and then just showed up. Everybody's got the Rolando Bedoya, right? There's a Rolando Bedoya on all of these cards.
Well, I went perfect last week, so.
Dan Argueta could be this card's Rolando Bedoya. I do think he's going to win. But all of a sudden, if he's not getting those takedowns and Miles John's takedown defense is better than I made it out to be, all of a sudden Dan Argueta could have some trouble because Miles John does hit like a freight train. And Dan Argueta, as good as I think he is, he still has, less experience, lost to some lesser guys, or lost to one lesser guy. Yes, short notice, things like that. But I still think Dan's going to get it done, but this is
He used to be your boy, man. He was your boy.
I'm all over him. I mean, I've got a parlay with him in it. I think he absolutely wins.
Well, you've been a little, I don't know, because you were, even in that Damon Jackson, I think even afterwards you were like, he beat him. He won that fight.
He had some nice scrambles. But, I mean, the Damon Jackson fight was short notice, and that is what it is. But we now know who Damon Jackson is. So, meaning he's lost a couple. So the competition is a little suspect. But I do think Dan Argueta is going to get this done. And as I mentioned, I do have a little parlay with him in it. If you want to see that and so much more, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member, and you can unlock all of the picks, the bets, the round line leans, the what's that tool? The optimizer, the detailed data, the metrics, and everything else. DraftKings 8,600 to 7,600. It's a little tricky. I don't think you play the 7,600 on the Miles John side because outside of big power, he's just going to be sitting there waiting. So then does Dan Argueta get enough takedowns to score well and to put that on the board? And I think so. Are you trying to look like him? You'll never look. Look at that hair. Look at that jaw.
I know, but do you think my cheekbones really pop when I do it?
That's just his cheekbones, dude.
You're supposed to look at mine.
No.
Is that a better look than just normal? Like,
I don't think there's many looks that could really make that.
Wait until they find out that I'm 35% Latino.
And all of a
Be
sudden,
all over me. I'm going to grow out the hair. I'm going to get a perm, get that thing curly.
Dan Argueta, isn't he Latino? Argueta?
I don't know. I don't see color.
You will if that 23andMe comes back with some color in it.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna be
It's gonna change I'm telling you, it's gonna change my life, man. It is gonna change my life.
It would be wild if you had a little culture in you.
You know the weird part about it?
You're not only eating chicken nuggets at McDonald's. Now all of a sudden you're eating like real food.
Well, you know what's funny is there's a guy in the Discord, he might be in here right now, that always makes fun of, because I posted a picture of when I made lemon pepper wings one time. And he always just like brings it up like just randomly, and it's always at the most random times. I was talking about the 23andMe today, and I was like, I bet I'm 50% white, or 25% black, and 25% Latino. And he was like, he said you can't be 25% black when he only seasoned 5% of your wings. it was pretty funny. So, but people can be surprised for sure.
I think we will be horrified.
Oh, but the thing I was going to mention is on the 23andMe, one of the weird things that they have you can either opt in or opt out is like relatives that they find out about you, and then your name will be posted. Like if other people that have signed up for 23andMe, like you might find a weird connection, whatever. And it says in parentheses because you either say you want to do it or you won't. And the thing that made me say I don't want to do it was, I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something like some fucking, I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but sometimes finding out about relationships you didn't know you had can change your life or like affect your life or something like that is the way they wrote it.
Yeah, you're gonna find out you had a kid because there
was something weird, like just some weird relationship, and I was like, no, I don't want to find out. So I literally clicked no. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't talk to the people I already have in my life. I'm not trying to add new people.
That's very true.
All right.